Time magazine called him the unsung hero behind the internet. CNN called him a father of the internet. President Bill Clinton called him one of the great minds of the information age. He has been voted history's greatest scientist of African descent. He is Philip Emeagwali. He's coming to Trinidad and Tobago to launch the 2008 Kwame Ture lecture series on Sunday, June 8th at the JFK Auditorium, UWI St. Augustine, 5 p.m. The Emancipation Support Committee invites you to come and hear this inspirational mind address the theme, crossing new frontiers to conquer today's challenges. This lecture is one you cannot afford to miss. Admission is free, so be there on Sunday, June 8th, 5 p.m. at the JFK Auditorium, UWI St. Augustine.
What kept me moving forward towards the fastest computation that I executed on the 4th of July 1989 and executed across my ensemble of 65,536 tightly coupled processors was a back-of-the-envelope theoretical calculation that I did in the 1970s. From that back-of-the-envelope calculation, I theoretically discovered that in theory, 2 to the power 16 processors that could only calculate 47,303 floating point arithmetical operations per second per processor can be integrated across a small internet that is a new global network of 65,536 tightly coupled commodity off-the-shelf processors, with each processor operating its own operating system, and with each processor having its own dedicated memory that shared nothing with each other. That is, I discovered a priori that my new internet will become my new supercomputer that will be faster than the old vector processing supercomputer that was the industry's state-of-the-art technology and that computes less than 3.1 billion calculations per second. In the 1980s, I was the lone full-time programmer of the only massively parallel processing supercomputer that was an ensemble of 65,536 processors. I was a lone wolf research supercomputer scientist that was not a member of a 400-person supercomputer research team. Such research teams were funded by the United States government. Such research teams were funded to bring the best brains from United States national laboratories and use that intellectual capital to bear on a grand challenge problem or the toughest problem in computational physics. Such problems were described as grand challenges because they were perceived to be otherwise unsolvable. What made the news headlines was that I, Philip Emeagwali, had invented how to harness those computing units, namely a new internet that is a new global network of 65,536 processors. I figured out how to harness those ensemble of processors to process simultaneously and to process together, and to do so as one cohesive whole unit, or to process in parallel, or to process as one integrated superprocessor that is a never-before-seen supercomputer that is the precursor to the modern supercomputer that I expect to become the computer of tomorrow. That is, in the 1970s and 80s, my technological quest was for how to massively parallel process across a new internet, and how to massively parallel process and do so at a time theorists were theorizing their way through parallel processing. A theory is an idea. A theory is not a discovery. A theory is an idea that is not positively true. In the 1970s and 80s, parallel processing was ridiculed, mocked, and rejected. Parallel processing was scorned as a beautiful theory that lacked experimental confirmation. It's not possible to experimentally discover the fastest speeds in supercomputing and discover that fastest speed by merely and only theorizing about how to achieve the fastest speeds via the massively parallel processing supercomputer hopeful. In my experimental confirmation of the new fastest speed in supercomputing that occurred on the 4th of July 1989 and occurred in Los Alamos, New Mexico, United States, I confirmed that the massively parallel processing supercomputer can be programmed to increase productivity and to reduce the time to solution of the toughest problems in extreme scale computational physics, and to reduce that time to solution from 65,536 days or 180 years on only one processor to just 1 day across a new internet, that is a new global network of 65,536 commodity off-the-shelf processors that were identical and that were equal distances apart. After my invention of the massively parallel processing supercomputer, the technological progress that followed in the subsequent 3 decades was a series of cleanups and refinements and rediscoveries. 3 decades later, my invention of the massively parallel processing supercomputer enabled China to copy that massively parallel processing supercomputer and to use the technology to massively reduce their time to solution and reduce it from 30,000 years or 10,649,600 days of time to solution on only one processor to just 1 day across 10,649,600 commodity off-the-shelf processors. That was how China, that did not invent the massively parallel processing supercomputer, massively parallel processed its way to the world's fastest supercomputers.
Insightful and brilliant lecture.